Welcome back to VOP this morning. On our first topic, we have Chicago State University, United States, has shielded its X page from the public following a barrage of inquiries unleashed on it by some Nigerians on whether President Bola Tinubu graduated from the school. Netizens stormed the page following a petition filed by the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, in a United States court to obtain information about Tinubu's academic history at the Chicago State University. On Tuesday, the page, which was earlier public, became locked with a message that read, quote, "These posts are protected. Only confirmed followers have access to at Chicago State Post and complete profile. Tap a follow button to send a follow request." Well, that's the quote right on your screen. In January 2022, the university confirmed through Beverly Poindexter, who is in charge of official transcript request, enrollment, and degree verification at the Office of the Registrar, that Tinubu attended the institution. However, there have been allegations bordering on discrepancies with Tinubu's certificate. The president last week said a clerk at the school was responsible for the error in the logo, name, and other features there that were wrong in his certificate. My guests this morning are Chukwuma Okoro and Victor Atawe, as well as John Akirile, all of whom are public affairs analysts.
All right, okay, I've gotten to know that only Chukwuma is the one available. Chukwuma, good morning and welcome to VOP this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chukwuma.
Thank you for staying with us.
You're welcome.
All right. Chukwuma, it's quite interesting to see how Nigerians can actually be on something when they want to stay on something, they latch onto it like leeches. Well, since Atiku Abubakar brought up, the case, refiling the case to get access to Tinubu's CSU certificate at Chicago, it became quite a conversation all over social media. Now, a lot of Nigerians flooded the Twitter account of that particular school. Now, when Twitter locked his account, they went onto Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm sure the school felt overwhelmed with the number of questions and some threats, actually, and some scones thrown at them concerning the release of the certificate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then, of course, they went further to check on the yearbooks, of all the students of that particular year, which is 1979. Unfortunately, that particular yearbook was missing from the list of yearbooks put on there. What's your take on Nigerians' reactions and the school itself locking the account and Nigerians not having access to see the yearbook of 1979?
Thank you, Esther. Nigerians' reaction regarding the Chicago State University certificate of our president speaks to the power of the youthful demography of Nigeria. The power of the youth, which has been exhibited severally in the past 2 years, to go for what they want, to go after whatever they need, is an expression of the faith they have in themselves, in pursuit of democracy, in pursuit of justice. And I think it's encouraging in what they have done. But overall, it speaks to how justice, the space for justice is shrinking gradually, globally. From what Chicago State University is doing, everybody now understands that Nigeria is not alone when it comes to trying to use the tools of the judiciary, the tools of the law, to suppress information and justice. It is very clear to Nigerians that Chicago University is trying to hide something. Chicago University is apparently trying to hide something. I don't know why it is difficult to release details of somebody's records. What is difficult in that? The university said, yes, they confirmed that the president attended this university and graduated at a certain time. So what is difficult in releasing the records? They first went to court. the court granted Atiku Abubakar the approval for the university to release the records. Yet the university is hell-bent on circumventing the law just to protect somebody. And again, if you look at that, even like you said, there are conflicting records. You remember sometime again, this investigative journalist, David Hundeyin, released a report that shows that the certificate that the president submitted was actually forged. And he showed it on internet. He gave a link to in the internet where you could verify between the original and the fake one. They used the power of the media, the power of the courts, the power of the law, their power to suppress that information. And the thing keeps coming back. Now, the president is blaming the clerk. And it is this same clerk that records show that even assumed duty before the president, after the president had graduated, 17 clear years after he had graduated from the university. The thing, it doesn't, things don't add up. Things don't add up. For people that are conversant with the biblical story of King Solomon and the two women that brought a living child for him to judge, it is very clear that the president has something to hide. You know, this case has been on from 1999 when he contested, from 1998 actually, when he ran for the governorship of Lagos State. And there was this guy that was on top of it, Tokumbo Afikuyomi. He was the first person that pointed out, look, that there is no record of the president passing through University of Chicago. Governor Tinubu came that time to say, no, it was not University of Chicago, it was Chicago State University. And all of that, the whole thing died down. They were able to suppress it with their power, with their influence. And you see some people serving in this government now, somebody like Festus Keyamo, who was about it all over the media everywhere, saying that the president doesn't have a certificate. How could somebody go to university without a primary school and secondary school certificate? Today, Keyamo is not talking. FFK, Femi Fani Kayode, was on this particular case. Today, he is not talking. So the whole thing goes to show that Chicago University has something to hide. And it doesn't speak good of America. It doesn't speak good of Nigeria as a country. If we have a president that claims that he went to university, what is difficult in releasing the details to Nigerians to see? It's like I passed through the University of Lagos and all of a sudden I'm stopping University of Lagos from releasing my results or my records to the public. For what reason? That means I'm hiding something. I'm hiding something. And I encourage Nigerians who have gone to X to bombard them. And if Titi said that Nigerians are camping on their page now. Ebong, the lawyer, the activist, is also on the case. Nigerians are, like the whole of Nigerians. Every Nigerian is
okay. You mean Inibehe F. Young?
Yeah, Inibehe F. Young.
Okay.
Yes. Netizens, like your colleague said, netizens are on the case. They are asking questions. But why? What is it that X is hiding to? Why would they block that page and not give Nigerians access to comment?
All right, Chukuma, indeed. Why won't can you hear me? Okay. So why won't the school, or at least his classmates, come out to defend their colleague? And secondly, can a university be so mediocre as to have a wrong logo on its student certificate and not even try to correct it?
That is to show you that that certificate is forged, and the university knows that it is forged. They know too well, but they are protecting something. Like I told you, the powerful. Like there was one thing I said the other day on this station. You see, justice has been defined by some people as the will of the stronger party. And in this case, the president is clearly the stronger party, and he's using both his financial and executive powers to ensure that he suppresses information that will give him out, that will certainly show that the certificate is questionable. It is not in doubt. It is not in doubt. But the law is a very is a double-edged sword. You can use technicalities, like he's been using technicalities to stop the university from releasing his records. It is clearly fraud. It's fraudulent. That certificate is forged. And we know these things. Everybody knows. And surprisingly, some Nigerians changed the conversation to what her certificate got to do with being a president. It has everything to do with being a president. Incidentally, the requisite qualification for being a Nigerian president is a school cert. If you have a school cert and you present it, the law protects you because that is the requisite. Why do you have to tell us that you went to Chicago State University or University of Chicago when you didn't go there? You submitted documents to INEC, documents that are forged, under oath. That is perjury. It's an offense punishable by law in this country and elsewhere. We had the same case when President Buhari was trying to defend himself about how his school certificate was missing, how it was reissued, a school certificate that he had exams that he wrote in 1963, and the certificate was reissued in 2014. The name of the school had changed. The date was written a different date from the date of graduation, and all of that. I mean, come on. Come on, we are making a mess of ourselves before the international community. We are. The Electoral Act doesn't even say that you must pass. It must say you must have attempted West African school, even if you had F in all the courses, in all the subjects. It's enough. It's okay. It doesn't detract from your power of reasoning to govern a people.
All right, Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, a certificate
So
that
why do
has
we
so
have
much, conflagration, begs the question precisely: why the mental jigsaw about this certificate? Nigerians wouldn't do anything if you state that possibly it's just a school certificate that you have. That's the minimum requirement for any Nigerian who is fighting or who rather wants to compete for a political position as president, governor, or whatever. So the question is, there are several inconsistencies in the result in his certificate, from the name to the year and the gender. The president have been updates on this particular situation. Actually, the president has begged the Chicago University to keep its information private. That bloggers in Nigeria intend to use the certificate situation to tarnish his image. He has also come up to say that the error on the certificate, the inconsistencies, are not from him, but the school, itself. Now, the school has not refuted the claim. They have withdrawn the yearbook. They have refused to divulge the certificate despite getting a court order asking them to divulge it. We do know that when it comes to the United States, such records are usually made public unless otherwise, maybe health reasons or whatever. So the question is, would we say the international community is corroborating with the secrecy? What is the conspiracy behind it? What is the agenda beyond what we're talking about behind the entire secrecy or the shroud concerning this particular CSU certificate?
Yes, Esther, I made reference to the role of the international community. And I did say that we can see that Nigeria is not alone when it comes to issues of corruption, issues of the powerful trying to suppress the law, or trying to suppress the powerless, using the instrument of the law to do that. What is it that Chicago State University is hiding? And the president says, and sometimes when the president speaks, he makes some mistakes. He says that bloggers will use the information to damage his reputation. Which reputation? I mean, even if you made a third class, even if you made a post degree, the point is that you have a certificate. You have the certificate. You passed through that university. The Electoral Act did not say you must make a first class or a second class upper degree. In fact, like I said earlier, the Electoral Act actually said you must have attempted West African school certificate. It didn't say you must have passed with a certain number of credits. It said you must have attempted. That is the preschool qualification. So what is damaging about releasing your certificate, even if it was a third class certificate? is a conspiracy between the powers that be in Nigeria and in the United States. And unfortunately, the Chicago State University and X have become partners and accomplices in that act to suppress information that is required by law, to prosecute somebody whose presidency, whose legitimacy is in question. There's a conspiracy, and it is wrong.
All right.
Okay, Chikuba. I want to welcome John Okerele and Victor Atawe. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to VOP this morning.
Good morning, Esther. Thank you for having me, and good morning to all of our listeners and audience all over the world.
All right, thank you, John. I'm going to ask you this question. All right. So here is a situation that is pending, and it's quite unfortunate when we consider the way things have been going recently. You do know that Nigerians have actually been asking for the authentication of President Tinubu'S alleged certificate. Of course, he said he went to this particular school and he studied there. And they have been asking questions. Twitter account was locked, that is X account was locked. They went to LinkedIn and they went to Facebook. They've been making inquiries. They've not gotten any response from the university. What does this say about the integrity of Nigeria?
Well, for me, it's a little bit dicey. Dicey in the sense that the West also is culpable, or let me say they are culprit in this case. For crying out loud, what is so difficult in them releasing this so-called certificate? I think every institution, they're always proud when people come asking for verification of certificates, the authenticity of the certificate, and if truly they are a student in that school. This is something that is long gone. Schools have been paid, either you attended in absentia or not. But the point is, the school itself should uphold that integrity which they say they have. Chicago State University it's a school that has so much at stake. And now, I think they know that Nigerians are even asking more questions. If this person was a student, was one of your students who graduated in maybe 1979, what is bad in the school coming up to make a press release? We have such a case in Nigeria where schools will come out and say, yes, this person is our student. All right, and that he graduated in so year, even if it's with pass. Okay, we are now concerned about the qualification, about what you came out from the school with, the grade. Nobody cares about your grade. We only want to know, did you pass through Chicago State University or not? And I think the only person that can put this issue to rest is Chicago State University themselves, and that's why Nigerians are, calling them out and asking them a simple question: go to your archives and tell us if for a fact this so-called name is a student or was a student of your institution as at this time. Then give us a statement and say, yes, he was a student. And yes, he graduated at so time. And yes, this is the certificate we issued to him. If they are able to clarify these three areas, I think Nigerians will rest this issue of either he went to Chicago State University or not. And I think, and what furthermore to that is the fact that people want to know that the certificate that was tendered to INEC and the one that was issued by the school, is it the same certificate or there's a form of forgery? These are the issues that are on the table. And the only person that can say if the certificate is forged or not is Chicago State University. And that will tell you the amount of interest that this issue have generated over the number of times we see. Now, globally, it's a case that everybody is interested in. Internationally, everybody is interested in. Locally also, most people are interested. They want to know who their president is. They want to know the school he attended. They want to know if these allegations against him were true or not. And the only person that can verify this information for all of us who are standby watchers is Chicago State University. And for the fact that Chicago State University, locked their account, shows that something is fishy somewhere, shows that they might either be under pressure not to respond to some of these inquiries, and I think it's appalling. So I think Chicago State University should do the needful by coming out and making a press release, a press statement will put all this issue to rest. And this president will address critical issues. One, he was our student from so year to so year. Two, he graduated from the school as so year. 3, this is a copy of the certificate we issue to E. And that these 3 issues, once that is done, Chicago State University can put themselves to rest. And if they don't answer this question, then I think also globally, the question will be asked as to their integrity, if truly is an institution of record, of repute, and that people can deal with them globally. This also work on their reputation, and I think they should do the needful. They should not put the integrity and reputation of the institution at stake. Rather, they should do the needful by releasing this information. Already, it's an information that's in the public domain. So I see no reason why they should make it, to be more, to have us in secrecy. We don't need to be in secret anymore. It's already out in the public. This copy is INEC, is already on online platforms that you can make mention of. So the best thing is for Chicago State University to authenticate what we have so that we can say, yes, this is already coming from a verified handle of Chicago State University, and that can put all these issues to rest. If they do not do that, then I think that the West also will have a hand in this, and it will be so not a good one for us as a people.
All right, we have with us Victor Atawe. Welcome. Victor, can you hear me?
Okay, if we don't have Victor,
Okay.
Mr. Chuk, okay, Mr. Atawe, can you kindly unmute your device?
Okay.
Yeah, I can now. Good
Okay,
morning.
thank you.
And yeah, good morning. And thanks
Good
to
morning.
our
Good morning.
viewers
Okay.
for having us.
All right, Victor, welcome. So, Victor, I'm sure you're following the story. What do you think of this? If most of the information on this said certificate seem to be wrong, what does that say about, about the school itself and everything that comes with it? And would you say it is a case of, mistakes, or, or would we say it is a case of outright fraud?
No, it's not a stake of. It's not a case of mistake. Chicago State University have been a university that have been for decades. So one applicant won't make them have this kind of forth and back. The truth is, there are some power that be that mounting pressure on them and ready to pay what it costs for them not to release that. We all know how it play out. If we recall the case of Salisu Buhari when he wanted to be a speaker, I'm talking about. I think that was 1970, or no, that was during time of President Obasanjo during the military era. He came up with this whole forged certificate that he went to Chicago. He graduated from Ambrose Ali University. He went to this other school in the United States. It has always been the case with politicians. The truth is, Chicago State University, there's some things they're not telling Nigerians, and it's so bad that a reputable school of such is being caught in this web and playing along with the power that be. Of course, you and I will know that, yes, this is a school that have been there for years. And not just that alone. It's questionable because I was discussing with a friend yesterday, and I said, the school I graduated from, if you ask me, I'll tell you the school I graduated from. And trust me, if you drag me or anything happened, you'll see I can call this person, we graduated together, this was my classmate, and this person was my senior while in school, and all that. So if up until now, none of our president classmates can come out like, no, I'm not. We sat together, we graduated together. After all, he's not the only Nigerians who graduated from that school during that set. So this calls for questioning, and trust me, there's a lot of back and forth playing under the ground, but in no time, the truth will surely speak for us. The truth will surely come out. But it is so bad for the Chicago State University that they are playing the dirty ball game, which, of course, Nigerians, of course, myself, do not expect it from them. What is hard for you to come out and say, okay, this person indeed graduated from our school, and and the person we're talking about is a public figure. So if you Google, for instance, the President of the United States about his qualifications, his result, you go on the internet, you see everything because the person in question is a public figure. So not making his result available to the public really goes to show that there's something they are not telling us. And we're asking, I will continue to ask.
All right. This next question is for Chukuma Okoro. So, some critics have attributed the barrage of questions and verbal slugs to a particular opposition to heat up the polity. Do you agree with that?
So come again, I didn't get that.
Okay, I said some critics have attributed the barrage of questions and verbal slugs, to a particular opposition, just to heat up the polity. Do you agree with that?
Sorry, before I'll come to that, let me something that Victor said.
Okay.
The Salisu Buhari issue was actually University of Toronto in Canada, and it was during Obasanjo's first term as civilian president. So I'll come back to you. It's politics at play. It's politics at play. So do you expect the APC to just own up and say, yes, this thing that is happening is coming from Nigerians, that Nigerians are passionately behind it because they want to know the truth? They will not tell you that. They will have to accuse an opposition party, either the PDP or most likely the Labour Party, as the instigators of this whole saga of the president's certificate forgery or whatever. It's expected that if it were the PDP would still blame the opposition. In the United States, if it was against Republicans, they would blame the Democrats. That's the play of politics. That's the play of politics. So I'm not surprised. During the campaigns, the asked spoke on so one question. He said, they asked him, what will you do if you become the president of Nigeria? He said P2B cannot win the election. And people were like, what's the relationship between what you do as a president and another person winning the election? It is politics at play. That is what politicians do. They try to cover the truth by pushing it to the opposition party and to blame the opposition. They scapegoat the opposition. They say, no, this thing is coming from the opposition. You know why they do that? They try to take away the narrative from the real issue, from the core issue, to the mundane, so that people will now start looking at it from a different angle. And in the midst of time, the whole facts surrounding the particular matter is lost, and life goes on. So it's power at play, it's politics at play. But again, there's something. Sorry, before I move on this matter, I don't understand why Atiku Abubakar is pursuing this case desperately, because obviously, whatever information that Chicago State University releases to him is of no evidential value before the presidential election petition tribunal, because the parties have made their written addresses. By the time the judgment is given, if it goes against the president, the sitting president, of course, when you go to Supreme Court, they are not going to tender fresh evidence, because by then, I believe it will have become statute barred, to bring up fresh allegations against the president based on the conduct of the 2023 election. And remember, by the time the petition tribunal, the election petition tribunal, approves of his election, and the Supreme Court approves of it too, the immunity covers him. You can, for the next 4 years, you cannot bring up the issue. Nobody will precipitate him. Nobody will listen to you. So Atiku is trying to put something on ground that even if the president eventually goes through this court process and wins in the Supreme Court, Nigerians will have it at the back of their mind that this person that is superintending over their affairs has a question mark in his school certificates.
All right, John Okerele, I want to ask you a question. Mr. Chukuma Okoro made a statement. He said to him he doesn't understand why Atiku Abubakar is, vehement in pursuing this particular case, as it will have no significant or no local standing either at the election petition tribunal or if the case is eventually taken to the apex court. But I think don't you think the question that Nigerians are begging for is concerning integrity and the couple of porosity that surrounds President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the campaign period to him being announced as a president by INEC?
I think this for me is a shame. It's a shame because it's not a national issue. We are no longer in the era of election. Election is gone and is gone. All right? But we now have a president that serves as the #1 citizen of this country. And it will be so sad if somebody like that is having a questionable character as far as educational qualification is concerned. And if Atiku is pursuing this case, I won't see it as being, let's say, politics are play. No, I'm seeing it as restructuring the country the right way ought to be, so that we can place everybody on the right pedestrian that we all should tread. There's nothing bad in you declaring that I went to this school, I graduated from this school this year. These are my classmates. There's the time I had the carryover, the time I had extra year or extra semester. These were my colleagues. This is the name of my lecturer. And one or two people should be able to identify you as a person. So that for me, it's a very big issue that goes beyond winning or losing the election. No, it's something that is so important that it will serve as a legacy to other people coming behind, to other people aspiring for the post of the president. Okay, wait, let me even ask you, Esther. How do you think other global leaders will take you serious when the issue of your academic record is questionable in your own country? And that takes us to the issue of Niger. Why will Niger take us serious? Even when the legitimacy of Mr. President is even shaking, he's still in courts, he's still tried. And one of the issues that they are talking about is this issue of certificate and Chicago State University. And that issue is coming up again. So it shows that it paints us as a country in a bad light. It shows that the #1 citizen is having a questionable character as far as the educational qualification is concerned. And if your #1 citizen, your brand ambassador, has a questionable character, it shows that the country also is having a big question mark on the international stage. And that for us is what I think should be corrected. And this administration should understand that the damage, them not speaking up on this issue, the damage for Chicago State University not speaking up on this issue, the damage to us is more than what will happen to Mr. President. The damage is on all of us as a people. The damage is on our pedigree in terms of our standing internationally. The damage is on every person carrying a green passport outside the shores of Nigeria. They ask you, and they say to you, you say you're in Nigeria, you carry a green passport. How come your president cannot, how come there are issues, of secrecy around his educational background and qualification? And what can you say as a Nigerian in diaspora? You lose your value as a citizen. And that is what we should look at. It goes, now we have a president.
All right,
so
thank you,
let
John.
us not say president or no president. The issue is
Thank you,
the
John.
presidency do the needful and say to us, this is the way to go, this is school graduated from, this is their certificate. And this is
all right, thank you very much, John.
Should also do the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
sorry,
thank you,
Esther.
John.
Sorry,
This
Esther.
very okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
hello.
Okay,
Hello?
Chukuma, go ahead, please.
There's I want to, yes, point of correction too. I happen to come from a realist background, but
Okay.
I want my colleague John to understand that before Nigerians begin to think that I'm in support of certificate racketeering. No, I didn't say that. I was looking at it from a point of law in relation to the ongoing election tribunal. And I did say later that probably Atiku is pursuing this case so that in the event that the president scales through the petition, even at the apex court, Nigerians will have it at the back of their mind that the person superintending over our country has questions bordering on the veracity of his certificate. That was the 2 points I made. I just put it in a perspective that, look, Atiku might have gone out of his way not to use it in court because it's of no evidential value as far as I know. But on the other hand, to let Nigerians know, hey, the person in charge of your affairs has a questionable character. And when John said something about the integrity of Nigerians, this thing is just a drop in the ocean.
Okay.
The international community, okay,
right,
Esther, let me leave
All
it
right,
there.
thank you very much, Chukuma. So this last question is for you, Victor Atewe. So the CSU has come out to say that it is going to give a press release only if a U.S. court orders it, right? So are we saying, can we actually say that this is more like a case of supremacy? And is the CSU really answerable to Nigerians, so to speak? Do they owe Nigerians anything per se with regards to the release of of the release of the certificate and every other thing that comes with it. So yeah, so that's my question to you, Victor Atewe. And secondly, what would be the implication of this whole certificate saga on the university itself?
Okay, first off, to get your question correctly, the Chicago State University is an institution based in the United States. Of course, their first allegiance is to the state which they belong to, which of course is the Chicago and the United States in extension. So that's first. Secondly, by the virtue of the person involved as the #1 citizen of our country, they owe us an explanation as to if this person in question attended the school. It's simple. And trust me, because of course it is a case of supremacy in regard that we're dealing with powers that be. I mean, do you know what it takes for you to be president of Nigeria? You know, and this is a country where, I mean, I tell people who cares to listen, the Western world, that is where corruption starts from. They tend to, but they do it systematically, but we do it with all impunity that it comes with it. So the thing is, these guys have been bought over, and of course, it's about the highest bidder. So, of course, the power of supremacy is playing a key role in this. And talking about, giving to your last question as regards what it will tell on us as a nation, what it of course will tell us, and it goes to portrays the point that we are fantastically corrupt, as being said by former President Trump. So it shows that we are, I mean, if your #1 citizen has a questionable character across all divides, ranging from certificate to all sorts and all, some still in court, which we're not allowed to talk about till the court decides. So this goes to show how we'll be treated, I mean, internationally. Before now, for those of us who have traveled, when you have the green passport, you're treated, I don't want to use less of human, but that's how you've been treated. So this goes to, you know, portray the negativity of what the world sees us as. And this, of course, will question our certificate, even for those working abroad, if being tendered, because they will go to the extent of scrutinizing if your #1 cannot provide a certificate. I mean, these are things that are supposed to be made to the public domain. Nobody asks you to come, you choose to want to serve, and they ask you, okay, based on what you tender, you are supposed to provide us with a certificate. Simply put, oh yes, I have it, this is the certificate. And by virtue of extension, you could call your friends, man, look, oh, this thing, they're happy, they're asking, can you just tell them that we graduated together? And it's simple. But now we're going forth and back, countering that they shouldn't release. What are you hiding? So it's really sad that we are where we are as a nation. And it goes to show the kind of government we intend to, that kind of government that will be governing the country, and what future will leave for our next generation.
All right, thank you, Victor Atewe. But I would implore you, Mr. Chukwuma Akora, as well as John Akerele, to please hold on for the second topic or the second conversation that we intend to have in VOP this morning. All right? So, no, says the law, but in Delta, a gay couple in company of about 65 guests have been arrested for attempting to organize a homosexual wedding. Let's find out more when we get back.